Welcome back to my channel, folks. So, you find me, I've took the time out today. It's the coldest day of the year so far. I've took the time out to come to this spot just to do a little bit of a recce because I'm hoping to, in the better weather, I'm hoping to walk across the top of these mountains to do a little bit of exploring and a little bit of hiking, a little bit of walking, a little bit of tea drinking, and just generally try to enjoy life. Now, you have to forgive me, I'm out in the open. You're going to have a bit of background wind noise because I'm filming on my phone. I think I need to invest in a Bluetooth microphone, I think, or a wireless microphone, but we'll worry about that further down the line. So where are we? Don't worry where we are. This is a little secret spot. Not too secret because I'm here, but you know, I saw this on the map and I thought, right, let's go and give it a go. But before we go any further, I'm just going to check this little bit of snippet of video for the background noise. Bear with me. Right, it's hard to tell what it sounds like because the wind's blowing, but here we are. Welcome back to my channel, and this is my first video, proper video, on my new channel. And some of you will know me, most of you won't. My name is Sean, and in this particular video, this is the first one, and I promised it would be starting over at 60. So, first of all, I've got one rule and one rule only. No tea, no work. So I brought with me a little flask of tea to sip along. It's bloody cold today. Yes, so we're going to drink all this tea. There's not a lot in there. So, starting over at 60. Everything's better with a cup of tea. So here I am. The middle of this year. Or, no. It doesn't matter when. But let's call it the middle of the year. I separated from a long-term partner, girlfriend as we call them back in the day, and had to sell the house because we was going our separate ways. And I've just recently moved into another house not far from here, and we want to talk about some of the trials and tribulations that anybody in this position, whether you're a man or a woman, doesn't matter whether you're 60 or not, but I think the older you get, the harder it gets. Oh, bit of sun breaking through the clouds there, beautiful. So, where do we start? Well, if you find yourself, if you're, anybody out there has found yourself in a situation like I'm in, by all means, feel free to contact me, leave a comment, and we can have a little chat. So, what are the problems? Obviously, I was lucky. I only found myself officially homeless for 2 weeks, which wasn't too bad because I went to visit people. I went to visit my mum and all the rest of it. Stayed in some hotels, stayed in some B&Bs and whatever. So, I got away with it. But luckily for me, the transition from putting an offering on this house to moving into the house was, for the UK, very, very quick. We all worked together. The people I bought off, they had to buy a house before a certain time, and the sale at my house, they already had an offer on last December for this house, and it fell through the day before the contracts were due to exchange and before any money was exchanged. So they was keen to sell. So yeah, so the turnaround on putting an offer in and having the offer accepted and actually moving in was quite quick. I can't remember how long. I could check my emails, but it's irrelevant because all situations are different. And I'm here in Wales, and there's a couple of things slightly different to England and I presume Scotland and Ireland and anywhere else. So obviously the first thing is you've got to find somewhere to live. And a lot of people said to me, Sean, why don't you buy a narrowboat and live on the canal system in the UK. All sounds beautiful. But they're changing the laws about the canals where, you know, you've got to more or less be continuously moving. And the cost of running a narrowboat it's the same as running my house. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's probably cheaper to run my house than it is to run a narrowboat. I did do some research and all the rest of it, but we did research 20 years ago, 25 years ago on canal boats. So canal boats wasn't a suitable option for me. And also I wanted to, you've got less freedom on the canal because, you know, if you want to go out and about, you either need a bicycle, a motorbike or a car or a vehicle. So if you're moving around, how'd you get your car? Pain in the arse. I also wanted a bit of a workshop because I'm a bit of a tinkerer and I like to do experiments and I like to create things and I like to have a bit of space where I can make a mess and just play like a lot of blokes. So narrowboats were out the question. And then a couple of people said to me, well, why don't you have a static caravan? Well, static caravans are okay, but there's very few places where you can start a static caravan all year round. And let's face it, they're freezing cold and you've got no space. And also with caravans, you're in very close proximity to other people. And the older I get, the less I like people. So, with the same as caravans, you've got your yearly fees, and if you can't stay there all year round, then you've got to find alternative accommodation. Plus, there's nowhere to have a workshop, you know. So, caravans were out of the question. And then a few people said to me, including some people quite close to me, said, why don't you go down the camper van, the van life? Well, I see a load of videos on the internet about van life and how fantastic it is, and hardly any of them ever show you any of the downside to van life. And there's a lot of downsides to van life. Constantly on the move, constantly trying to find somewhere to park up so you don't get the dreaded knock on your door saying, what are you doing here? Yeah, same thing again. No storage, no room for your golf clubs and your fishing tackle, no room for a shed. This is only talking about the things I want in life. Yeah, I've got no problems with anybody living on a narrowboat or a canal or on in a caravan or in van life. No, if it suits you, that's fine. But there are van life. There's a lot of downsides to van life, and one of them is earning money. You've got to be able to work remotely off a laptop. Otherwise, you know, you're knackered. So, really, a house of some description was the only option. But I'm not saying those options wouldn't work for you. You've just got to weigh up the pros and cons and ask yourself what you need in life. And also, don't get me wrong, you might be looking just for some temporary accommodation until you can find somewhere proper to live. Then a caravan is wonderful. So, obviously, finding somewhere to live in your price range or in your renting range, if you know, depending whether you're buying or renting, that is probably the major one, isn't it? You need somewhere to live. But then that brings its own problems. Council tax, gas bills, electric bills, water bills, insurance bills, internet bills, TV licensing, robbing bastards bills, all the bills that come with it, which you'll still have whether you live in a camper van, a narrowboat or a caravan, because you still need gas, you still need electricity, you still need some internet, you still need a mobile phone. See where I'm coming from? So you've got to take all that into consideration. And I'll talk about utility bills a bit further down the track, because I had a little experience trying to get an electricity provider, because at the moment, as I stand here, at the moment my house is all electric, but that's about to change tomorrow. But we'll worry about this in the videos. So then, if you can find somewhere to live that suits the book, suits your needs, then you've got to say to yourself, what possessions have you got? I had 2 shipping containers full of my possessions. And that's after spending months and months and months sorting things out, giving things away, selling things on the internet, giving things for people to car boot, and not mentioning 1,000 trips to the local tip and skips. I threw away, the stuff I threw away was criminal, but it had to go because you can't take it with you. And I've still got too much stuff because I've got very little storage in my new house. But I'm grateful for being able to get this house in the time period, in the price range, and is it ideal? No, but I've never been in a house that is ideal. So, but it'll work, and I can make it a nice home eventually, but it needs doing from top to bottom, and I'll show you that journey along the way. So you find yourself in a new place to live. You've sorted out your bills. You've got to pay your bills. I'm not working at the moment, but you've got to pay your bills. And you got to cook and food shop and all the rest of it. That's expensive. That seems to be going up every time I go shopping. Yeah. And then you've got the obvious one. You've gone from living with somebody or living with whoever, might be more than one person, and then you find yourself living on your own. So you have to contend with, from your usual routine or your usual things you do, usual shopping list, usual, drinks lists, usual food, and all the rest of it, and these little things that you don't realise become a bit of a habit. They all change. Then you find yourself on your own. Your shopping, your food shopping's different. Everything's different. And even though I've been in my house now, where are we? 2.5 months. I left my old place. Yeah. It's still a struggle. You're still used to doing things that you don't need to do, or you keep on thinking of things that you don't need to think of now, and it plays on your mind. And then, if you're not careful, you can get a bit melancholy and you start thinking about the past. Now, I'm a great believer in not trying to think about the past. Yeah. But you can't help it because you meet everybody and people say, remember this, Sean, remember when we did that, remember when we went there. But then you start reminiscing about the past and the negative thoughts creep into your head, and before you know it, you can make yourself really miserable and depressed. And that's without feeling lonely. Because I can tell you now, I moved into my house and I thought, oh bloody hell, I better go and get my bed out of storage. So I went and got my bed. Oh, and moving house on your own. Moving house on your own with all your gear is nothing short of I don't want to swear too much, but it's ridiculous. Yes, I could have called upon people, but anybody I could have called upon lives well over 100 miles away from where I'm standing now, and I got no friends in this area. So, what you do, you struggle, don't you? You grow a pair of balls and you just battle on. Yeah, grow a pair of balls. Whew, that's controversial in itself, isn't it? Anyhow. So, where were we? So I went and got my bed out of storage, managed to get it up the stairs, up the smallest staircase known to man, smallest staircase I've ever seen in an actual real house. Got my bed up there, set up my bedding, and I already had all new bedding, all new pillows, all new duvet, and fitted sheets and everything. I'd already bought the week previously because I knew I was moving, so I was lucky enough to get all those washed and dried and laundered, before. So I've got a nice fresh bed. Obviously got my kettle, and so I had a cup of tea, went to bed. No radio, no TV, no internet. It was a grim night. It wasn't the best night's sleep I've ever had. But since then, each night's sleep has got progressively better. And I slept like a baby last night. Yeah, slept like a baby, or as the saying goes. Before any of you wise guys crack, I didn't have a giant pamper on, and I didn't have a baby's dummy or a romper suit. So yeah, it can get a bit lonely and it can get a bit monotonous, but I've got an abundance of jobs to be done, which is another problem. You move into a house and it's not the way you want it to look. So where were we? Yeah, so I've moved into a house, and you'll have the same thing. you don't like the colour of the wallpaper, you don't like this, you don't like that. But that's only cosmetic. That can be easily changed, and it doesn't have to happen straight away. Yeah. Now, I had to do a lot, and I'm still doing a lot of cleaning. I had to do an awful lot of cleaning when I moved into this new house. And I've already had to do work in the garage for the lighting and the electrics, because that was dangerous and not up to scratch. What else do you have to do? Oh, I've had to change taps and do some plumbing. And, you know, the list is endless. I've got to do the house from top to bottom, including the bathroom. The bathroom's got to be completely stripped out and reinstalled. But I'll show you that further down the line. So what else do we need to talk about? Yeah, obviously, I was concerned that I was going to struggle to find a house in my price bracket. And then, when are you going to be moving in? I didn't want to be moving in this time of year. Look, there's snow on the tops of the mountain, and over in the distance there, I don't know what mountain that is because I'm a bit disorientated at the moment. But saying that, I'm standing here. I can see the sea. The sea's over there, stunning view, and you got the mountains over there. That's the Snowdonia National Park. So you know the tops of those mountains are sprinkled in snow, and it's freezing cold. My hands are freezing. So I didn't want to be moving into a house in the miserable dark weather, especially when the clock's changed and the nights are darker. It's freezing cold, you know. But I was lucky when I moved in. The weather was nice. So what else are the other challenges? Obviously, I went from living in the middle of nowhere with no neighbours to being able to make as much noise as I wanted. And now I've actually got a neighbour. I live in a little semi-detached. Is it a cottage? I don't know. But it's a little semi-detached house, and I've got a natural neighbour next door, and she's lovely. We get on really well. So I'm lucky. And in fact, where I live, there's four houses. And I get on well with all the neighbours. They're all lovely. So I'm in that respect, it's been a blessing. Bloody hell, I drank that tea quick. Don't worry, that wasn't full up. That was the equivalent of one mug of tea. Let me put my hands in my pockets. It's bloody freezing. So what else do we know? Oh yeah, and then there's the pain in the arse of changing all your names and addresses and email addresses and contact details with the council, the utility companies, your banks, your doctor. The only one I haven't done is my dentist. Can't get an NHS dentist round here for love nor money. So I still go to the dentist, believe it or not, 150 miles away where I used to go. You know, the same dentist I've been going to for 25 years. So you got all that. That's a pain in the bum. Notwithstanding, you got to change your insurance details on your vehicles. And when I phoned my insurance company for my van, they charged me 50% more. I've only moved 5 miles. I'm still rural, still off-road. They charged me 50% more. So they can, in February, they're going to go, I'm not going to swear because I'm trying to keep my swearing to a minimal, but in February, when my van insurance is up, they can go forth and multiply, if you get my drift. They're long gone. They're the worst insurance company. They're the worst company I've ever dealt with, full stop, period, in my life. So what else is that? Oh yes, so all your vehicle details, you know, where your vehicle's kept and all the rest of it. So there's that. I'm just doing this off the top of my head. I've got no notes. I'm just waffling on now. So I've sorted all that out, apart from a dentist. And when I get home this afternoon, I'm going to phone my dentist and just double check, because I'm pretty sure I'm due a checkup at the dentist. So you got to change all your personal information. What else is there? Can't think. Put them in the comments below, the problems you've had. So yeah, roughly 2 months, give or take a bit, in this new house, and it's going in the right direction. But I'm not going to lie, it's been fucking tough. And I'm sure there's going to be tough days ahead. Feel that sun. I'm going to face this way. The sun's on my face, so you can see my beautiful face. I don't know which is my best side. I don't know whether that's my best side or that's my best side. but I was born with 2 good sides, so it's irrelevant really. So yeah, I'm sure there's going to be rough days to come, and but that's life. It's life. I am fortunate. Oh, and the main thing is I'm healthy. Everybody says without your health, you're knackered. Well, without money, you're knackered, but health is more important. And as I'm standing here now today, as far as I'm aware, I'm as fit as a butcher's dog. Maybe a few pounds overweight, but it's the winter. We've all got to fatten up in the winter a bit just to pull us through the cold nights. So I hope you like this location. I'm not going to tell you where it is, but you'll have several videos, multiple videos from various viewpoints. But I'm telling you now, when the weather breaks, I'm no mountaineer. My days of hiking across the tops of mountains are nearly gone, but I've done it multiple times in the past. I hiked halfway across the Pyrenees Mountains on my own, on the jihadist, the high level route. Beautiful. So, but that's a story for another day. But this is a stunning location, very dramatic. North Wales is very dramatic. It reminds me of New Zealand. And not a million miles from here, they film some of the scenes in House of Dragons, so you can tell, you know, it's stunning. So yeah, I'm going to investigate the any public footpaths or any trails around here, and I'm going to walk that panoramic view I showed you at the beginning of this video. I'm going to walk all of that. I'm going to try and do it in a big massive circle, and I'll take you on the journey, because there's going to be some stunning views from up there, stunning views over Anglesey, the Menai Straits, Snowdonia National Park, everywhere. Yeah, but I want to get down there. Can you see down there? I need to get down there. We also need to get up on the top here, but we're in no rush. But there is going to be some coming up on this video channel, this YouTube channel. There's going to be lots of outside walking and tea drinking and bacon sandwich making. Plenty of outdoor exploration. In the better weather, my mate's coming down and we're going to go wild swimming. I'm not a very good swimmer, but you know, we're going to do a little bit of wild swimming, or a little bit of wild cold water, at least have a good dip and a splash around. We're going to visit some waterfalls, we're going to visit some beaches, we're going to visit some woodlands and some forests, and you know, we'll have that. What else is going to be coming up? Usual, I'm going to show you all the jobs I'm doing in the house. I'm going to show you the jobs I'm doing in my little garden. Anything I think that's a bit useful. If I think anything's going to help somebody out, then I'm gonna show it. Completely different from my old channel. This video is being released this weekend on this my new channel, but I've already got about 50 subscribers. You top bananas, honestly, you crazy diamonds, you surprised me. So this weekend, because I've got some DIY to do tonight, because I've got an engineer coming tomorrow to do some work for me. So over the weekend, this video is going to be released, and my old channel will be deleted, never to be seen again. So, but don't worry about that, because by the time you see this video, my other channel will be deleted. What else do I know? Oh yeah. I will leave it for another day, because that's enough for one video. So yeah, starting over at 60, I didn't expect to be standing here making this video, especially in the freezing cold. But here we are. Let me take my glasses off so you can see my face. These reactor lights. Oh, I've got new glasses as well. So yeah, I didn't expect to be standing here making this video, but here we are. As they say, life's a bitch, and you just got to crack on with it. I'm not discussing any personal issues from the past. I haven't really discussed anything with my family. Obviously I had a chat with my mum. She's happy, so if she's happy, I'm happy. Job done, and we'll take it from there. So I hope you're all keeping well. I hope you're not too crazy. It's good to be a bit crazy, and watch out for my next videos, and watch out for me future videos. And if you want to come along on this little journey with me, just to see what I'm up to, just in case there's anybody out there feeling a bit glum, in the same situation as me, and whether you just want to message me just for the sake of messaging me, that's fine as well. Or if you think I can help you out in any way, or you see me doing any of these little DIY projects, or you want my opinion, not that my opinion counts for anything. Oh, and a little disclaimer, anything I do, anything I say, anything like that is only my personal opinion and ideas and thoughts. I'm not asking you to copy me. I'm not asking you to do or say anything I do or say. You know, you got your own mind. All I'm saying is, you know, you gotta let the mist disappear, and you gotta just start to think straight. But I will say things in videos that people don't like and people don't disagree, that people will disagree with, and we can't all agree on everything. We can't all. Let's face it. In this world, we can hardly agree on anything. We can hardly agree on the name of the week, the day of the week. So don't get too upset if I say something you don't actually agree with. Yeah, because it's my right to have my thoughts, but it's your right as well to get upset and to disagree with me. But between us, you've got to be able to see both sides of the coin, both sides of the stories, you know, both views. So, because I'm bound to say something that upsets somebody, and in all fairness, I've got to the age now. I've got to the age where I don't care. I don't go around upsetting people on purpose. But if needs must, needs must. But what a stunning place. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to zoom in down there so you can see. Let's see if we can zoom in without causing too much grief. Stunning. Right, I better get home. I've run out of tea. Right, I'll see you guys further down the track. Can't stand here all day. I got work to do. But take it easy. Right then, I've stopped here on my little walk back. I'm on this bridge, never been here before. Got the lovely little water overflowing from the lake, coming down past this ruins. There must have been an old cottage here or something. Nice little old gate there. So yeah, this is probably an old shepherd's house. Stunning on a freezing cold day today. Stunning location. And I'm going to come back here if I can when this is covered in snow. So I just thought I'd give you this little snippet to tell you about two other little things, two other little segments in these videos that I'm going to try and incorporate on a regular basis. The first one is called tea and waffle time. And I know waffle is a food, but waffle's another term for, you know, just chatting on gibberish and just chewing the fat. So we're going to have regular tea breaks in different locations, some from the house, and a lot from outside, down by the beach, up hills and in woods. Might bring my camping cooker to make a fresh brew and maybe the odd bacon sandwich. But we're going to have tea and waffle time, and that's just a little chit-chat, quick chat, just to let you know what's going to be coming up on the channel, and any thoughts and any answers to any questions anybody wants. And on top of that, I'm going to incorporate, at the end of a video, I'm going to incorporate another little segment which I'm hoping you'll find interesting, that nearly everybody will love, and I'm going to tell you about that in my next video, because if I told you everything straight away, you'd have information overload. So until then, you take care, and I'll see you further down the track.